Welcome to the Stacy A. Cross Show. I am Stacy A. Cross. There's no E in my name. Every Friday at 8 a.m., I'll be coming through. We're talking health, we're talking wealth, and we're talking happiness. I'm a believer of freedom, personal growth, and your journey to success. So go ahead and share, subscribe, listen to this show, because it's going to be an amazing one. As always, you can find me at www.thecomfortkillers.com. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go. Where did the summer go? Hey, Comfort Killer, Stacy A. Cross here. There's no E in my name. It is August 17th, 2018. My birthday's coming up. That's why I'm extra excited, and I can't wait for that. My birthday is August 29th. Boom. Where did the summer go? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a beautiful Friday. It is, I usually tell the weather what's going on. It's an overcast here in Philly, but it's been raining a lot. We got a few days of some sunshine. Today I have a lunch date. I'm going on a date, y'all, okay? I'm going on a date with a dude. A lunch date with a gentleman I met around my area where I live. He just moved in the area. He's into podcasting. Well, he wants to start a podcast. So I said, hey, let's sit down. You buy me lunch, and I'll tell you everything I know. Okay, that is the trade-off. But here, more so, I want to talk to you about making sure, all right, that you, in any relationship, in any deal, on any negotiation, you always put in what you want, okay? And you want all of it. That's the goal. You want all of it. And then you can negotiate from there. Why? Because you're important, you're valuable, okay? Your time is valuable. I want everyone to know that. Hey, I have a shout out. And the shout out is for my boy, Carlos Ortiz. Carlos recently led me on Twitter. Go ahead, because I want to give you a shout out. So all you got to do is throw me some activity on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And I will definitely hit you back with a shout out, and I'll hit you back on those Twitter channels, you know? So at Stacy A. Cross, pretty much across the board, LinkedIn too. I've been having some activity on LinkedIn. I'm really liking that platform, you know. I'm kind of like, Facebook to me has gone somewhere. It's still like the number one, of course, you know, engagement, building but as far as and you got to know what works for you. Okay? You know, what works for you? What channels work for you? There's no right or wrong. If there's a channel booming for you, that's the channel you go to. You want to, you know, I used to be like, get on all of them and do all of the things. And okay, if you have a team, definitely. If you have 2 or 3 people behind you, definitely. Be on all the channels at once, okay? But what's working for you, definitely feed that channel. And the identities of each channel is different, and what you could do on each channel is different. But I love everyone on all channels, so I just want you to show me some activity, send some activity my way, and baby, I'll give you a shout out right here on the podcast. If you want to send me questions, it's hello@thecomfortkillers.com. If you have any questions that you want us to discuss on the podcast. And what else do I have going on? Big thing. Hustler's Ambition podcast. I'm not sure if you've seen that yet, but it's a podcast presented by the Comfort Killers. And on it is the host, Thelonious C. Jones, none other than Thelonious C. Jones, the realest real estate investor, and Stephen Holt. Now, Stephen Holt is a mega powerhouse. He's from Chicago. He's up in Chicago right now doing big things, and he's all about that. He's a credit genie, right? He's also a finance guy. He does a lot of things, but it revolves around entrepreneurship, finance, credit, real estate. So that podcast is available now. I just dropped episode 1, and I want to give you a sneak peek of episode 1 right now, so you can check it out and then go subscribe to the podcast. Here's a sneak peek of the Hustler's Ambition podcast.
Be looking for what you know what I mean?
Okay, so after you put a report on Privacy Guard, you're going to be checking all the information on the report. So first, you're going to be looking at the names and the spellings of the names. You're going to change anything, misspellings, if the middle initial is wrong, or if you don't put your middle initial on your application. You know, those are errors.
Mm-hmm.
there are any mistakes in the addresses or addresses that you have never used before or never lived at, those are errors. And then you also look at inquiries, things that you haven't applied for.
Mm-hmm.
Like say if you went to a car dealership and you only told them to apply, for one place, but they applied at 10 different places.
I'm talking about some insider credit stuff, okay? Everyone needs to learn this information. Stephen Holt, Delonia C. Jones, Hustler's Ambition podcast. New episode drops when I say it drops, but we primarily get one in a week. And so there's going to be some awesome information over there. So head over to thecomfortkillers.com right now, and we have a drop down for podcast, and then you could click actually the Hustler's Ambition. Go ahead on iTunes. You can find it there and subscribe to that because that's a real life deal podcast that gives you all the information. So I'm happy for that. And I'm proud of these guys, man. These guys really exude professionalism. They exude like the hustler mentality, the real entrepreneurial mindset. Okay. So I love these guys and I'll do anything for them. Like that's my key brothers right there. And also, I'm headed to Atlanta. I was going to go this weekend, not going this weekend, going next weekend. And during my trip to Atlanta, we are going to be documenting. I don't know if you've seen it, but the billboard is out, howtostackyourmoney.com. All you have to do is go to howtostackyourmoney.com to purchase the book. But the book is just the first notch in getting your finances right. That's why I dropped the credit podcast, because there's it's like a whole supporting cast of getting your financial abilities up there, right? It's not just the book, right? But the book lays out the principles. It's the foundation. There's way more for you to do, but that book will get you started probably faster than any other thing in the correct direction. Now, everyone has a financial book, right? You could go get a financial book that's 500 pages. Matter of fact, if I turn my head around exorcism style, I will see on my shelf a lot of books about finances and personal finances and wealth and all of that. And then all those books are 300 pages to 500 pages. What Delonia C. Jones has done is took the fluff out. There's no fluff in it. Okay, there's no fluff. And he condensed it down to what you really need. And people have gotten major wins off of this book. And you can read the testimonies and find out more on howtostackyourmoney.com. But we put up a billboard because we believe in the product. We believe in helping others. We believe in getting this information out. So I want to get you to see the documentary and the insider behind the scenes of why we put out a billboard versus any other channels. I want to teach you about that stuff. So welcome to the show today. All of that to say that we're going to have an awesome show today. Today is going to be about marketing. Today, just more specifically, CRM, right? On automation, lead generation. Oh, it's all of it. I use a program called Infusionsoft. Okay, before for my email marketing, I used Active Campaign. Active Campaign was one of the better ones. I used Drip back in like 2016. That was the first one I tried, and I was like, "What is this?" Because I was so familiar with I didn't even have a list before this. I didn't know about a list. Okay, the last list that I created was when I started my company, my t-shirt brand, and I created a list. And even then, I wasn't using a blasting tool. I was just sending an email to them directly. Oh, I was such a freaking punk, man. But I had to learn. So then, Active Campaign, MailChimp is out there, and there's a few others. There's 100 others, email marketing systems. But I use Infusionsoft. And the reason I use Infusionsoft because it's the best. Okay, I think it's the best. And I don't even unlock half of what Infusionsoft could possibly do. And I believe in automation. And before, in my past life, a year ago, I would say automation was just me sending a blast email out every chance I got. I wouldn't set up the automation string. It wasn't until I got into Aweber. Aweber is another one that I really was like, okay, I got to get this automation right. But then again, Infusionsoft is not just about automation. It's a sales pipeline. You could really dial up some great funnels in there, and set tasks. And I mean, you could do so much more. I'm just skimming the surface. So that's why I secretly got a person training me in Infusionsoft. You know, my training date, I said, hey, why don't you come on my podcast? Help me out. Help everyone out. So you can get the inside look of what he does and how he helps people. But what tools are out there, what's working now. It's tons of information in here. And I got my trainer, but, you know, really cool guy, Nick Holladay. And Nick Holladay is going to come in and he's going to help us out when it comes to everything email marketing, but also his expertise, what he's seeing that's working, what's not working. And this information is very vital. You're going to be able to get a lot of information in this one. All my entrepreneur people, stand up. Are you ready? Are you ready to be mind blown? Let's go. I have a special guest, one that will help us entrepreneurs beef up our marketing tactics, internet strategies, and automation in order to attract more traffic, capture more leads, qualify more prospects, and convert more sales. My guest today is Nick Holladay, Director of Customer Experience for Success Engine. A little fun fact about Nick, but now that we're turning it into a lean manufacturing deal, because I almost thought it was a karate deal, and I had to clear that up with Nick. And thank you, Nick, for doing that. He's a 6 Sigma black belt. And when we talk about that, we're talking about removing waste, when we talk about lean manufacturing. And I think that helps more so in understanding business as a whole. And it's a few books that I've read on. I'm not a black belt in it, but Nick is, and maybe he could give us some advice on how to clean up our bulky fattiness of our business and kind of lean that up a little bit. He's also a Boy Scout master. So I want to welcome Nick to the Stacy A. Cross show today, this morning. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic.
Now, thank you. I mean, this was kind of like, this is a spontaneous thing. So there's nothing that we have this set up in our calendars. This is very spontaneous, Nick. And I want to just thank you for being flexible with me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a pleasure. We always love chatting and getting our name out there. Yeah. More so to help. I mean, here at Success Engine, we're premier partners with Infusionsoft, and I know we'll talk more about just different activities of what I do as part of my director of customer service here. But really, at the end of the day, I love my job because I always look to help people solve problems. There's problems in any form, and to kind of have bridged the gap between what I was studying in my undergrad. I thought I was going to be a supply chain guru and go to graduate school and then get my doctorate and become some life-altering or manufacturing-altering guru in that sort. But I stumbled into marketing because while I was in my undergrad, I worked as the 10th employee at Infusionsoft, and it started connecting the dots of reducing waste, mix that in with the excitement of marketing, and automation just kind of takes over. So anyway, that's where I kind of, started working, hitting the grind after college and figured I want to have a little more fun than just crunching numbers and data. I want to, and marketing kind of caught in my blood. And so I've tried to combine the two of efficiencies, and marketing to create automation. So it's kind of a fun thing. So yeah, I always love talking about it. So the spontaneity of today's podcast is exciting. Hopefully it will bleed through the earbuds or however you're listening.
Awesome. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen. Yeah, just to give you guys some context, I've been training with Nick for about a month now, a little more than a month, and he has smoothed the transition for me and the Comfort Killers over to Infusionsoft, Success Engine being a premier, partner with Infusionsoft. And for those that don't know, Infusionsoft is one of the best solutions, if not the best solution for CRM, email marketing, automation, as Nick says, plus many other features I have personally yet to unlock. So, with that being said, we're both going to be learning today as much as possible and listening to some of the things that Nick has to say. Now, being that we got that cleared up and we know a little bit more about Nick and his background and leading into marketing, and marketing is very fun, especially when you're able to see the results of marketing. It's like this aha and oh my God, this thing works. So it's a fun process. But Nick, what are the common misconceptions or misunderstood about the effectiveness of using programs such as Infusionsoft, or I came over from Personally Active Campaign, and then you have many others in the realm, but I know you deal personally with Infusionsoft. So what are some misunderstoods and misconceptions about using a program such as that?
I mean, I think one concept that always kind of catches my eye, and I speak frequently with new individuals or new to Infusionsoft, so oftentimes newer businesses, and they're so consumed with their contact list. 5 years ago, it was like, how many likes do I have on Facebook? And so it's not the volume of emails you're sending or the volume of your contact list. It's the quality of the content. It's the it's the call to action. Because I could make sales with a small list if I'm delivering the right message at the right time with the right offer. And so it needs to be more about that attitude and not just, let me just overwhelm their inbox and eventually they'll buy something from me, or they'll eventually schedule that free consultation. So that's kind of the direction that I'd like to go with. I mean, reducing non-value added material. Don't just email for email's sake, email for value. Is I think sometimes that we have to change that perception early on.
And that's absolutely correct. Just coming off of experience, it was, pound, give them all the emails in the world. And then at some point, somewhere down the line, I don't know where, we ask for something. We ask for a sale. But, what I've learned, especially when I first started, Nick, I didn't know how to add the romance with my contacts, so I easily went from hello to wanting to go right to third base, right in the bed with them in like a matter of one email or just at the first meeting. How many touch points do you think we need, as a marketer, or an entrepreneur before we start asking for the sale?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, one area that comes to mind is, if I put it in perspective of dating, like you just did, I'm not going to go up to the bar and ask you to marry me just right then and there. And so it depends. You kind of have to look at your target audience. You need to look at the price point of your service or product, because that can make a huge difference. If we're talking about, lower dollar amount services, then you can kind of provide an opportunity to make that proposal of, hey, are you ready to buy, sooner than if it's a multi-thousand or hundreds of thousands type deals. I mean, that's where we've got to kind of schmooze them and really warm them up. So to answer your question, I think for most folks that are using Infusionsoft, mid to smaller businesses, you want to be probably around 7 touch points at the earliest. I mean, a touch point would be an offer on a Facebook ad that they click on and they go to a landing page. So I would count any sort of user experience that you experience, not just the number of emails I'm sending, but actually when they see your brand or your logo or see your face in picture or video form. Those are all touch points. So I think, even if I only send 3 emails, they would have had to at least land on some landing page or website. So, my number is around 7. I don't have a scientific evidence to fully back that up here right on the spot, but that would be kind of my thought. Most folks wouldn't really start being willing to make a impactful or educated decision until they've at least experienced a couple 7, or more experiences with you.
I would agree with that. And coming from the newer entrepreneur side, a few years ago, I was big on website development, and my website has to be the most prettiest thing, and it has to have all these links, but there were no touch points in there. It was just more information. Now, speaking of website, because I know Success Engine actually works with customers to help build their brand online, right?
Yep.
And what would you see is needed with the website? Because I spoke to someone on Facebook, and they were like, hey, I don't need a website. All I need is Instagram and my Facebook page, and that could suffice. So what do you think we need as far as our website in order to optimize it and make it useful to get sales?
Yeah, absolutely. This is something that we've always found individuals struggling with, in particular in a small business realm. How do I display this? And there's some individuals out there that feel that you just need complex landing pages, put them in a funnel, if you will. But you still need to be able to have your brand available. And so we've actually developed some methodology, and we actually have our methodology we call it story sites, where we're telling a story. And that way we can have that opportunity to drive what our intentions are as a company, quickly and easily understandable by the visitor, by the user experiencing that page. So that way they can be able to navigate through those steps. Because here's kind of as a marketer, we're trying to guide someone to make a decision. They are the center of their universe, as they should be, as we all are. And we as a marketer can be that guide, So if we can provide a great looking website that can be easily understood, that tells them the steps they should take, that's going to allow for a much cleaner and clearer direction for them to embark on. It could be as simple as click here to receive this free report. Click here to receive this free video. Takes them to a form. So we always should have an opportunity to gather contact information. We also should probably have a transactional offer, and let me define those two real quick for you, Stacy. Is if I'm a coach and my main priority to get sales is to drive to a consultation, I should make that known. It shouldn't be something I'm hiding from people. It could very well be my primary offer on my homepage. And with that said, that's a big commitment for someone that's just seen you, right? So going back to the romance approach, you're not making it creepy or over the top. This is what my intentions are, is to schedule this free consultation with you. But here it is for those that are ready. And then you have a transactional offer for those that aren't ready. They could at least, fill out a form and get some information from you, maybe a checklist, a worksheet, or Stacy's got a video series. Those are some great opportunities to have kind of a transactional offer to give those 7 touch points, give them more opportunity to get to know you. And then at that point, now they'll be ready for the invitation to schedule that consultation. So that's just one approach, dealing with a lot of coaches, both on physical fitness type coaches, or even on self-help or business coaches. Those are just some things that we've seen, and that perpetuates across many different industries. Your offers just differ, but you have to make that clean and clear on your website. And I think that can't be always accomplished on just Instagram or on a social media platform, as convenient as it would be on a website.
I would agree. And also like helping to build the trust. And
Absolutely.
And one of my favorite marketers of all time is Dan Kennedy. And and there's a triangle that he speaks about all the time, which that triangle could be taken as far back as Gary Halbert, is message, media, and market. Knowing, the message and effectively and clearly stating what that message is. And that also builds that trust in all. And finding that media that works for you. If, Instagram works for you, if those other supplementary sites work for you, you could build that trust on those sites, but you're always leading them back into that domain, the website, the landing page that still defines and clearly states what you want. Okay. But also giving them what they want. Nick, one of the things when we first talked, you mentioned that you speak to a lot of internet marketers. You help guide them, because a lot of people, we know the stuff we want to teach, but we don't necessarily have the structure or the automation. So we still have to go to a pro and an expert like Nick to help us, to guide us through those channels. So you speak to a lot of gurus and influencers who use Infusionsoft as their program and work with you and Success Engine. What principles are working right now with these gurus, with these influencers, with these internet marketers, in terms of using Success Engine as well as Infusionsoft? What are you seeing that are working right now?
Well, what I'm seeing is, you bring up the great point of the triangle. We've talked, just about understanding your target audience. The right message, the right offer, right time. You really just have to have a great understanding of who of what the problem you're solving. Again, I think one of the issues is we often feel that maybe my service, my product can be beneficial to the entire world, and maybe you are correct. But where I think these individuals are becoming, these gurus are finding success, is they can target a specific niche of individuals that have a particular problem that their guru-ness solves. And the reason why I love Infusionsoft is, and Stacy, I'm not saying that you should only pick one target audience. I'm saying that target audience should receive a very specific message. And so with Infusionsoft, now I can say, you know what? If I can figure out a way, there's individuals that are doing quizzes or ask method, or we can go on and on, how we could segment down what their problem is, if you will, or what how we can identify which niche market is who. Because if I can know what this group A is versus group B, I'm going to send group A a very specific series of emails and action requests that will be different than group B, because I know what program they're in. At the end of the day, they both need my program. They both will find value in it. But to get them to make that educated decision, it's because they're coming from different viewpoints. So what I see gurus having success is this. They pick one particular niche market that their, again, I'll stay vague, their product or service solves, and they really focus in on automating the lead capture, the customer lifecycle, the lead capture, the follow-up, the conversion, or the selling acquisition activity of getting those clients converted. And then when they kind of have that dialed in for that niche, they say, okay, that we can let that ride for a few months or maybe a few weeks. And now let's take that concept. We know the strategy works. We need to go change the content. And then we need to be able to start building that funnel of that other group and just tweaking it a little bit. So now you're dialing it in. So now they're able to speak to maybe, for example, I can't remember the name of the company, but they're a t-shirt company. So I'll use them, for example. They found that if they were marketing, they had male models for every email they sent out. And their sales were pretty standard, what have you. And it came to them, what if we figure out if this person visiting our site and interested in our t-shirts is male or female? And I'm cutting out a lot of details, but just at the end of the day, this is what they did. They were able to identify male versus female. And guess what they did? They had two different campaigns. The male contacts received images of male models wearing the t-shirts they were advertising. Females had female models. So that way you could tell what the shirt looked like on your respective male versus female. And their sales increased just immensely. And so that's I think, a cleaner example of just identifying your segment markets. The end goal is they sold more shirts, and the people were happy, so they achieved it. They always had women shirts and women cuts and women, these are just regular old t-shirts, but all they did was change the image. The content was nearly the same. They just changed the image, and now they had two funnels, and they were able to convert much higher, much better. So the gurus, the self-help coaches, what have you, they're all doing the same thing. They're just being able to identify and to go that way. And my mom always told me you can't eat an elephant in one bite. And I think one of the problems that people do is they see somebody that's been doing this a long time and is quote unquote a guru, and they think, okay, I want exactly what they have. What you haven't seen is they went one funnel at a time and they grew and grew and grew, and now they've got this big plan. So to go back to a question before, what have I seen people have mistakes on? They're trying to hit the home run. They're trying to be someone they're not just yet. Like one layer at a time, line by line, precept by precept is going to be how you're going to get there. So that's how they're doing it. They're segmenting their lists, and then they're automating to that segment.
What you said is powerful. There's a few things that I'm just going to unpack with experience here, because you're absolutely right. I remember dumping, 800 or so people in my list, and I'm speaking the same things to all 800 of them. All 800 of them have come in for a different reason, and without that segmenting, we lose focus, and we actually we're talking too much, Yep. And we're not saying the right things at the right time to each segment. And so that's very powerful. And another thing in what I learned very early on is we're looking at from the outside in at, let's say an influencer that we love so much. We're like, man, we want to duplicate their techniques. And what we're duplicating is what they're doing now, what's working for them now. And we fail to realize that they have history, some of them even 25 years of history of perfecting the segment, perfecting the niche, perfecting the message. And we're coming in and we're, the template that we're using is for the now. And we haven't done all that in the previous past. So, kind of unpacking what you're doing, layering it out, and starting with the, eating a piece of the trunk off the elephant first before going in and trying to swallow the whole thing.
Exactly.
And I was going to go into that question is, what are some losing marketing strategies that you've seen being used even by influencers or those that have really made some headway in the industry and getting the sales that they want and building the business that they want, but they abandon that. It's not working anymore, because the market has changed. So what are some things in marketing that's not working anymore?
Well, I think just being too transactional, requesting too much out of people on every occasion that they see you. Mm-hmm. So going back to how can we make this a win-win relationship, and less, one-sided type activities. Yeah. So I see that's being the case. I think the other area is you can't just settle with emails any longer. I think you need to make sure that you're getting on the phone. I think the time has come back. You need to be on the phone, and you need to be sending text messages. So I know that sometimes feels like, whoa. We just went from, I wanted to automate my business. I wanted to make all this online transactions. That way I can make money when I sleep. But at the end of the day, for a lot of businesses, you got to pick up that phone. And I think that goes for even coaches, for anyone. Pick up that phone, send them a text, give them a call. That's a critical element right now because we are overwhelmed with emails. So we got to kind of sift through that. So that's something I've seen by some of the gurus that they're mixing in. And there's ways you can automate that and still make it feel personal. But you got to hit on different medias, and it's not just inbox.
I would agree with that 100%. I myself personally went to mail, and it has been effective. And in kind of using all the tools that you have out there, but not just saying, oh my God, email is the only thing, because there's a lot of people now, hey, how I made $127,000 by sending an email over the weekend. That's not, first of all, you don't know what they had to do before that. And it's kind of just selling you a false, shiny object. So definitely, I would agree with that. Now, Nick, you've been a student of marketing. I think everyone in marketing has to become a student first. To help our listeners, what are some books or resources or people currently out there now maybe teaching marketing do you recommend for new or growing entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a little bit of a jaded view on that, just because I deal with a lot of individuals coming to Infusionsoft from folks that use it, from the gurus that use Infusionsoft. So, I mean, like Ryan Levesque and digital marketer Ryan Dice, those two are probably some of the ones that I've followed the most. Digital marketing or digital marketer is someone I've heard, much of their materials over and over again. Just educating folks on that. There's so much out there, so many podcasts, so many great resources. One of the more recent ones that I've fallen in love with is just Story Brand. Pardon me. Just thinking of ways to view the importance of what you do and how you can impact others more than just how much money I can make.
Yeah.
Or how much money I can get out of someone. So I think avoiding that kind of, again, one-sidedness. So those are the individuals that I kind of turn to. I know there's others that I probably can't think of off the top of my head, but that's just some that come to mind.
Yeah. And with the wealth of resources, everything that Nick just said, I'll put it in the show notes here to help you out a bit. Now let's just, there's a couple more questions, and these really focus on Success Engine. What could Success Engine do to help the entrepreneur coming on and working with Infusionsoft? How do you see yourself being pivotal for our growth there?
Absolutely. So, the first thing that comes to mind is making sure that your online presence is impactful. So one of the things that we like to do right now is we are created an improved way to have good-looking websites without having to break the bank. So again, we call it story sites, and it's something that we've just released here. I've been beta testing it for some time and had some really good success there. So we like to make sure that we do a good web audit. Where are you as far as a website goes? Where are you in regards to social media avenues? Are people able to find you? Is something that we like to do. And so we'd like to create an audit with you on that regard. That's kind of where we're able to start, because now we know where you are or where you're not. Now we can make some decisions as to where can we get the best return on our investment with activities and investments that we could help you with. And so we cut our teeth on doing Infusionsoft setup years ago. We know that just setting up a campaign doesn't make you money. You could have the best emails, but if you're not feeding that campaign or feeding that funnel with contacts, it's difficult to see a result or a return from those awesome emails in that awesome campaign you got. So we are always going to be able to build you some fantastic campaigns, ones that convert. But then on the back end of that is, okay, now we got to figure out ways to drive that traffic. So SEO activities, lead gen, where am I best suited? Like, where am I going to get my most bang for my buck? Is it in Facebook? Maybe not. Maybe it's more LinkedIn. Maybe it's Google AdWords, So we've got individuals that will be able to give that an audit. Ultimately, what we call that is we want to create a marketing automation plan with everybody we work with. And that's a service we do. We write up a very specific plan that we suggest you take. That may involve updating your website. That may involve getting ready to do advertising, and that obviously involves what kind of campaigns we suggest would be best to use. And the last element of that is we can drive, we could seek for ways to drive traffic, but if we're not being able to capture leads with a particular offer, so the last element of that marketing automation plan is making sure that you have a lead magnet, a lead collecting activity that is impactful for your audience. So it's an all-inclusive evaluation. Again, we call it the marketing automation plan. From there, Stacy, naturally, if someone isn't ready or eager to be building out campaigns inside Infusionsoft, we can do that for them. Other activities like running ads, naturally, we're building the ads and we can run them for you as well. And I think the coolest thing that is most impactful to our clients is that we don't necessarily want this. It's not a one-sided endeavor. We're a partner. Your success is our success. And so some of our most influential clients have actually come to our offices here and just outside of Phoenix. We're in Mesa, Arizona. And we'll do an on-site where we'll set up with you, where we'll do the heavy lifting, but you're just as involved. So that way you're not out of the loop when the project is done. And so that's something that's really impactful for a lot of folks. So we've got a number of ways to be able to get your marketing going and automated. It's just a matter of what stage you're in, and so we need to do that audit, and then we'll go from there.
I love it. And also, like, just everything you're saying, it's like it lifts a weight of stress off of your shoulder, because as entrepreneurs, we tend to do everything. And some of the things we're not experts in, we know how, but the time and the time consuming. So it's great to have a partner with you that knows, hey, listen, we're great at these things, these sets of skill sets, we're great at these, and we could work together to get that weight off of your shoulders. So that's one of the reasons. Yeah, I love that. And, as business owners, again, we need to be working on our business, not consistently in our business, because the creative aspects flow, and we're creatives, and we, we solve problems, and some of these things and techniques we need to be able to outsource and have a relationship and a partnership with to get some of these done. That scared me off in the first year. I was like, oh no, I could do it all. I could get everything done. And time is our most valuable asset. So I want to thank Nick for providing so much valuable information within this episode. This episode is going to be great for our entrepreneur listeners. And if you want more information, or you want to learn how to get in contact with Nick, could you tell us how to get that done? Yeah,
I mean, again, I'm very accessible. I'd love for you to just email me and we can set up a time, but it's just Nick, N-I-C-K, at successengine.net. You can also go to our website, successengine.net, and that's one way that we can get started. I've got another route that's kind of cool too. We are in the midst of rebranding our website, so there will be some changes there, so I don't have a specific place or button for you to click on as we're releasing our story sites here this month. But I also got an opportunity that, let me get that number here in front of me. We often capture leads via Infusionsoft via text message. So if you want to text me, you can text ENGINE, E-N-G-I-N-E, to 480-351-3999, and that will kick off some information back to you, and more importantly, you will be able to notify me that you're interested in chatting, so we can talk that way. So if you're interested, you'd rather just text me, text ENGINE to 480-351-3999, and that will do it, or give me an email, nick@successengine.net, and I'd be happy to chat. We often hold regular events monthly here, so we've got new small business owners, folks that are just hitting the ground and have a great idea, but need to think through marketing objectives. We have them out here regularly, so if that sounds like that fits your niche, let's chat and we can talk about what we do and how we can help.
Awesome. Comfort Killers Worldwide, you here have it. This is what I do. I give you the resource, I give you the people. We tie in everything, because it's all about thinking better, acting better, living better. We got to do that in our business as well. So again, thank you, Nick. You've been phenomenal today, and we got to schedule we got to work on another funnel. So we'll definitely get that done. And thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Stacy. And all you out there, good luck in your marketing. Just stick with it. That's all I can say. Stick with it.
Hey guys, this is just a special exclusive bonus for you guys. Just go to thecomfortkillers.com/marketing. And this is specifically for Infusionsoft, Success Engine, Nick Holladay, everything we've been talking about today. So I just want you to go to thecomfortkillers.com/marketing, and we could just hook you up. So fill out the form there, and I'll hook you up personally. I am Stacy A. Cross. There's no E in my name. I'll catch you another time. Next week, actually. Just next week. Peace. You've just listened to a episode of the Stacy A. Cross Show. You can subscribe and get more episodes on my website, stacyacross.com, and my company's website, thecomfortkillers.com. As always, you can get me on all my social media at Stacy A. Cross. Go ahead and subscribe, and we will see you next week. I am.